Hey everyone, my name is Sam and welcome back to Samcraft. In today's video, I'm going to address what has quickly become the hated corner of my shop, and that's what you see behind me. I originally put these shelves up as I need a place to store stuff, I have some cheap shelf brackets, I have some OSB left over, let's just put a wall of shelves. That'll probably work. Several months later down the road, and I don't like this. Storage is great, I need the storage, but I'm tired of seeing all that visual clutter in my workshop. I have a lot of construction grade plywood left over from a project I've been doing up at our house, and that has given me the materials needed to actually finally get around to building some cabinetry. Now don't get excited, this isn't going to be fancy pants cabinetry. I'm not going to do any kind of, honestly, anything amazing at all. It's going to be simple, basic, rugged plywood cabinets to put this junk in, close it up so I don't have to see it. Let's go. So here on this side you can see how I've got three, yes I counted right, 3 wall shelves. Not really doing much. They're going to come down and I'm going to build myself a bank of upper cabinets, or uppers. Better than downers. So let's go ahead and start by cleaning this area up, getting some measurements, and then starting to build these plywood cabinets. The wall is all cleaned off and prepped, ready to rock and roll. The table saw is now cleaned off, ready to rock and roll. So let's go ahead and rock and roll. We'll go ahead and cut the plywood pieces to form the rough carcass or case of the cabinets. I'm going to build 2 36-inch by 36-inch wall cabinets to give me a total space of 6 feet wide and 3 feet tall of storage. I have all of my pieces of plywood cut to assemble the carcass or the frames of the cabinets, the back, the sides, the top, the bottom, and one shelf in the middle that's going to help stiffen everything up. I want to go ahead and start assembly, and for that I'm going to get really fancy and use my Festool domino joiner. No, I'm totally joking. I'm going to use glue and drywall screws or construction screws, leftover screws that I can find in this shop. It's going to be a mix match, a hodgepodge, but it's still going to work. Alright, we will start with a top and a bottom, a left and right side, and then a back piece. I have my shelf sitting over here out of the way, and I will do those last, but first let's figure out how this is going to fit on this workbench. This will be fun. Basic process, I'm going to lay down a bead of glue, put the piece on it, shoot some brad nails to hold it in place temporarily, then flip it over, drill, and drive screws in this thing. Very simple build. we're going to skip ahead probably a little bit in the process. I'm not going to go ahead and build the doors just yet. I'm going to go ahead and get these cabinet carcasses or bodies or things, whatever they are, frames. I'm going to get them installed on the wall because my shop is destroyed and there is no room to move around. So I have my #1 helper back here, and he is going to pick up the entire cabinet himself and haul it up on the wall while I screw it in place. I'm joking, I'll help you.
Okay.
Let's go. That is really, really big. It looks too big, but I'm not changing it. That's going to be a good size. It's just really large. Alright, it is held up by 2 screws, so let me put about another 5,000 up on it so it's good and strong. There are much easier ways to mount cabinets. You know, most people will put either a French cleat system on the wall to hang the cabinets from, or they'll put a board on the bottom side to put the cabinets up and they kind of rest upon. I am choosing the lazy but not really lazy method of just trying to bear through it and not use those methods to try and get it done quicker with less headache. Although it's probably not easier at all. So you might want to do things differently. Unless you're like me, then do it my way. It works. Pretty sure this next one will work, but it'll work. Next thing I want to do is take these 3 vertical strips that I've cut, line them up, glue them, and nail them in place with a couple of brad nails and let it sit, and the glue is going to be what holds all this together. I don't want to fill my face frame full of a lot of mechanical fasteners to look at later in the event that I don't give this a finish in the end, like a paint finish. So, glue and nail. Here we go. Alright, we're going to pin the bottom first. And then the middle. Cabinet is all framed out on the face with a face frame. Looks great. It is amazing what a little bit of trim does to 1, hide your mess ups, 2, have this really gnarly, ugly plywood, and 3, just make you look like a professional. Next thing I wanted to do is go ahead and cut some center uprights for these cabinets. Face frame is all done and it looks really good. It's amazing how getting the trim pieces set up, tight joints and everything, real flush, nice and pretty, really makes it look pretty overall and hides all your mistakes. That looks like a professional-ish job. It's a shop project, doesn't matter. So I decided to put center supports in these cabinets, not so much for structural rigidity, but because I wanted something good for my doors to meet and close upon, and another surface behind it to try and keep as much dust out as I can, although really in a workshop, it's a losing battle, so I'm not really expecting it to be any kind of dust-free environment, for sure. I've been looking around in my workshop as far as what materials and things I have on hand and thinking about how I'm going to build the doors. I want something that is lightweight. There is no need for these to be monster beefing doors, but I don't want something that is expensive to go buy or difficult to make. Digging around in my scrap pile, I found an old project of mine. Let me grab it real quick. Here is what was supposed to be a cabinet door face, like the front face of a cabinet, that when you opened it, you had a whiteboard on the other side. This was supposed to be going in the house, but my wife changed her mind and decided not to go that route with the project, so I was left with this giant door thing that I could never use. I still can't use it because it doesn't fit for the project, but it did allow me to get a visual idea of something that I'm going to do. Let me show you real quick. Something like that. Okay, wood trim with white inside panel. So my plan is to make 4 doors with a whiteboard material for the inside, perimetered, surrounded by more of this 5/8 plywood to form the frame. That will give me the continuity, congruent feel. It'll allow it to match the frame that's already here and the wood that the cabinet itself is made out of, but also give me the white inner panel for a clean surface to reflect light, to give a brighter, cleaner feel. And if I want to, could become a sticker board. I could use it as a whiteboard, although those are kind of lower on my totem pole, but you never know what the future holds. Unfortunately, I don't have those materials, so that means, yet again, another day to this project. But that's okay, because I don't have hinges either, and I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with those, what to get, and that means a trip to the store anyway. I have all the pieces cut for my doors. Now I'm going to cut the panels to finish out the doors pieces for assembly. What I got is from Lowe's, and it's a panel that on one side is dry erase board and on the other is chalkboard type material, and these sandwich an MDF core. It looks like it's about 1/4 inch thick. I don't know if you're going to be able to find these where you're at, but I didn't specifically want a dry erase board. I was looking for something that was white and cheap and would work for my situation. So I got double-sided stuff, but I don't plan on using the chalkboard side at all. What I've just done has probably got a couple of you guys freaking out that I glued stuff to my table saw, but it's okay. There's masking tape between the layers of glue. What I've done is use a trick from some other woodworkers that I picked up, mainly in a CNC group, on a way of holding material to a surface without damaging the material or the surface. And that is a layer of masking tape, super glue or CA glue, and then another layer of masking tape. Smush them together, holds them tight as the bond of tape to material is, and when you're done, you can pull them apart. Now the whole point of doing all of this is I just built myself a cabinet door jig on the flattest surface in my workshop, my table saw. This is going to allow me to assemble these door frames face down and then staple and glue the panels to the backside while keeping everything flush, square, and hopefully just right. Let's give it a shot. For hinges for the doors, I went ahead and purchased some piano hinge. It was the cheapest thing I could find locally, and also picked these because they're easy to install and they lay pretty flat and flush. I don't have to get it fancy with mortises or get some kind of fancy jig to drill the European fancy pants hinges. I just going with what's simple here because this is shop furniture. I want to show you guys how to cut the piano hinges, and for that all you need is a pair of metal snips. Mark your location. Make sure you can see this. Mark your location, snip one side, flip it over, snip the other, and then just work the hinge pin back and forth a little bit and it snaps right off. There you go. Easiest way to cut piano hinges. It's not perfect, it's not awesome, but it does the job, especially for shop furniture. All of the hinges are on the doors. Next step, put these doors on the cabinet and pretty much call this thing done. I don't know about you guys, but that looks nice. I really like it. It is so much visually nicer than the wall of shelves and tubs and just visual chaos that I had before. This did take about 3 days, off and on working on it, not like 8-hour shifts. Come on, I ain't that slow. But it did take about 3 days to get done. Now's the part where I can just throw stuff in the cabinet, right? Well, probably. Yes, that's probably what I'm going to do. But I would also like to be a little more deliberate in how I pack this cabinet. I want to have organization solutions put in there as well. Maybe I need some miniature freestanding shelves. Maybe it's just a couple of cardboard boxes acting as miniature shelves or whatever. Basically anything that'll work to allow me to be more organized and use the space better rather than just creating a mess behind some doors. Either way, that's what I do. At least I won't see it most of the time. I appreciate you guys watching and coming with me as always. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like and leave me a comment down below with any questions or comments. Otherwise, take care and I'll see you next time. That's right, in the workshop. Bye.